Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host. Welcome back to Marvelous Gaming. Today we're going into the realm of the often overlooked but totally awesome PSP. When I first started digging up some of the more underrated PSP games for you guys, I was at a loss. I mean, I love the PSP with a passion, and I think the entire PSP library can be considered underrated. Seriously, the console itself is underrated. The PSP was this powerhouse machine running PS2 quality games, playing videos and a whole lot more. So for all you PSP aficionados who have already blitzed through big name hits like MGS, Peace Walker, and Burnout Legends, this one's for you. Get ready to explore some hidden gems with today's episode, where we explore the top 30 underrated PSP games. You might just find that overlooked masterpiece you've been missing. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. Gladiator Begins. We're starting strong with Gladiator Begins, where you're thrown back to ancient Rome, right in the thick of a spicy power struggle. Marcus Aurelius, the big brain emperor, is facing his twilight years, and oh boy, things are heating up. His son Commodus and General Cassius are at each other's throats, and in comes you, the new gladiator. Now, let me tell you about the gameplay. It's honestly pretty cool. You start off as this underdog in the gladiatorial world, right? Just a slave trying to make a name for yourself. The fights are super intense. You really feel every sword slash and shield bash. And get this, you can customize your gear, choose your battles, and even pick sides in the Empire's drama. How cool is that? But here's the thing. Why did more people not talk about this game? It's a gem on the PSP. The combat is super gritty and realistic, way different from other games on the platform. Plus, the whole choose-your-own-adventure style with Roman politics, yeah, that's just awesome. You can think of this one like this hidden treasure. It takes on this brutal but thrilling ride through Rome's gladiator scene, so if you're into history, fighting, and making your mark in a virtual empire, this game would be totally up your alley.
What's in that bag?
That's because Jean has finally given them hope.
Jeanne d'Arc. Next up, we have Jeanne d'Arc, a game that's got enough depth to keep you hooked, and the story here is on such a different level that it really stands out. This tactical RPG has got a bit of a twist on history. It's loosely based on Joan of Arc's story, but with fantasy elements thrown in. Think 100 Years' War with humans battling demons. Coming to the gameplay now, in simple words, it's pretty rad. You're controlling Jeanne and her crew, trekking across a semi-historic map of France. There's this cool system where you move your characters and decide their actions in turn-based battles. And it's not just plain old fighting. There's this neat mechanic with burning auras for extra damage and a rock-paper-scissors style affinity system. You're constantly tweaking your team's skills and gear, which keeps things interesting. But this one again was not talked about enough, but it deserves all the hype. For starters, it offers both of best worlds. From historical and fantasy elements to strategical tactics, both are presented in a way that's super engaging. The strategy part is deep but not overwhelming, and the whole armband transformation thing for Jeanne, totally awesome. Jeanne d'Arc would be a solid pick for anyone who craves something a bit off the beaten path. HalfMinute Hero. HalfMinute Hero is a game that really didn't get the praises it deserves. Imagine you've just got 30 seconds to save the world. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's the hook of this game, and it's as thrilling as it sounds. The story is a roller coaster, where you're racing against time in a series of bite-sized 30-second chunks. You play as the hero, tasked by the time goddess to thwart various world-ending threats, all in half a minute. It's like you're in this constant, adrenaline-fueled dash against doom. Seriously, it gets your heart racing. Now, the gameplay is a wild mashup of genres. You've got RPG, RTS, and even shoot-'em-up elements. It'll definitely make you feel like a gaming buffet. In Hero 30 mode, it's classic RPG style, but supercharged. You level up, gear up, and bash monsters, all at a breakneck pace. Then there's Evil Lord 30 mode, which switches things up with real-time strategy, summoning creatures in a rock-paper-scissors showdown. Princess 30 mode, it's a blast, literally, as you play a shoot-'em-up with a princess and a crossbow. And don't even get me started on the other modes. Each one's a unique twist on the 30-second concept. What makes it such a great addition for PSP is its sheer creativity. It takes familiar gaming formulas and flips them on the head. You're constantly on your toes, adapting to new challenges and playstyles. And the 30-second mechanic? Simply genius. It makes every second count, pushing you to make snap decisions. Plus, the variety in gameplay keeps it super fresh. We really failed to see how this even remained underrated because, well, honestly, HalfMinute Hero is like a love letter to gaming wrapped in a high-speed 30-second challenge. Ys, the Oath in Felana. Ys, the Oath in Felana is set in this European-esque place, Felana, which is all kinds of messed up thanks to this power-hungry Count Maguire. The land's got this rich history with ancient religions and legendary battles, right? But now it's facing weird weather, failing crops, and the Count's tyranny. The story kicks off with our heroes, Adol and Doggy, who are like, let's get out of Doggy's hometown, Felana. Despite a fortune teller's doom and gloom warning, they're like, nah, we got this, and head there anyway. Classic adventure stuff. Once they arrive, things are wild. Monsters are everywhere. A volcano's acting up, and the Count is basically making everyone's life miserable by cutting off access to this super important ore, Raval. Though quite chaotic, it only adds to the thrill this one offers you. Despite all the amazing elements, this game remains as a hidden gem on the PSP. It has it all. From this amazing action and exploration element to a story that hooks you right in. We dive into dungeons, battle monsters, and also uncover this big conspiracy that might just affect the whole world. Exciting, isn't it? Yeah. If you're into stories where you get to be the hero in a rich fantasy world, this game would totally be worth your time. Priny, can I really be the hero? Priny, can I really be the hero? Is this hilarious 2D side-scroller on the PSP, a spin-off from the Disgaea series. You play as a Priny, those quirky penguin-like creatures on a wild quest to make the ultra dessert for Etna, the demon lord. She's like, you have got 10 hours or you are all toast. Talk about pressure, right? Gameplay-wise, it's an absolute top deal. You've got 1,000 lives because, well, let's be honest, it is tough as nails. Time of day changes the stages and bosses, which keeps things super fresh. The Priny's got some cool moves like the hip pound and a spinning dodge that can leave you dizzy if overused. Plus, you pilot vehicles and collect items like bombs, adding extra layers to the gameplay. So, how come it's this awesome yet underrated, we all wonder? The humor, for one, it's goofy and doesn't take itself seriously. Plus, the challenges are real. It's not just another platformer. It's got a whole different vibe with time-changing stages and crazy amounts of lives. I mean, come on, the game has got penguins with swords. If that doesn't scream unique gaming experience, well, I don't know what does. This could be your favorite game, after all. Ringoku 2, The Stairway to Heaven. Ringoku 2, The Stairway to Heaven is a game that's like a sleeper hit on PSP. So, what's the deal in this game? You are Adam, this battle-hardened android, right? Your mission is to climb this massive tower, each floor representing one of the 7 deadly sins. It's a journey from the depths of despair to, hopefully, some kind of redemption or self-discovery. And guess what? The whole setup is inspired by Dante's The Divine Comedy. Pretty cool, huh? The gameplay is all about action and strategy. Imagine you're going through this maze-like tower, battling all sorts of enemies. And the arsenal? Oh, it's massive. Over 300 weapons to choose from. That means loads of customization options for your android. You can really tailor your gameplay style. Plus, there's multiplayer action for up to 4 people. It's always more fun when you can drag your friends into the fray, right? And let's not forget the downloadable maps and items that even add more layers to the game. Despite all these cool factors, it remained underrated. First off, the concept is unique. The whole 7 Deadly Sins theme gives it a dark, intriguing vibe. The customization is top-notch, almost like a playground for strategy lovers. And the multiplayer? It's just the icing on the cake. Crimson Gem Saga. Crimson Gem Saga is like the RPG equivalent of finding a $20 bill in your old jeans pocket. In the game, you are Killian von Rokoff, just graduated, feeling good, and bam! You're suddenly in this whirlwind adventure chasing after the legendary Crimson Gem. It's like going on a treasure hunt, except your GPS is a bunch of cryptic clues and everyone else wants the treasure too. Talk about a wild post-grad life. Now, the gameplay is like a sneaky game of tag mixed with chess. You creep up on monsters, and if you get the jump on them, surprise attack time. But if they see you first, oh boy, you're in for a surprise of your own. And the customization? Imagine playing mix and match with weapons and skills to create the ultimate butt-kicking combo. Plus, those team-up attacks with your buddies are just epic. It's like assembling your own RPG superhero squad. Honestly, I think Crimson Gem Saga flies under the radar because it's like that cool indie band that hasn't hit mainstream yet. It's got all the classic RPG elements but still feels fresh and snazzy. It's a comfy, familiar RPG experience but with enough new twists to keep you on your toes. Hammerin Hero. You guys This next one is such a good one. Hammerin Hero is a quirky side-scroller on the PSP where you play as Gen, this hero who's all about stopping the evil Kuroki and his Yakuza gang from messing up his village. The gang's trying to evict everyone, and Gen's like, not on my watch. Gameplay is a blast, like literally hammering everything in sight. You're jumping around, using all sorts of wacky weapons like hammers, bats, and even fish to beat the baddies. It's all about reclaiming your town, piece by piece, from the TV station to the beach. And get this, Gen can switch between 8 different suits, each with its own cool abilities. This game is just so much fun and just doesn't take itself too seriously. The levels are super varied, and the whole suit switching thing adds a nice strategic twist. Plus, there's something super satisfying about clobbering bad guys with a fish, you know? This is a perfect game to pick up when you just want to smash stuff and save the day in the most ridiculous way possible.
Prepare for the end! Last win!
Blade Dancer. This next game is like catching up with an old friend who's always got the best stories. Blade Dancer is another cool RPG exclusive to the PSP. The story is all about this guy, Lance, who teams up with his friends to save the world. Classic RPG stuff, but it's really well done. The gameplay is where it gets interesting. It's turn-based, but with a curveball. Battles don't start until you actually hit a monster. There's this element of surprise and strategy that I really dig. And you know what's even cooler? The crafting system. You can mix and match items to create new weapons and gear, which is super fun. But here's why I think it's an underrated one on the PSP. First off, the Loon abilities. They're like special skills that you develop, and they pack a serious punch against tougher monsters. And the whole idea of initiating battles by striking first adds a real sense of adventure and anticipation. How cool is that? It's a shame that this game didn't get the hype that it deserved. So, to sum it up, Blade Dancer is like discovering a secret level in your favorite game. It's got enough new elements to keep you on your toes and definitely radiates can't miss vibes. Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex on the PSP? It's this awesome first-person shooter that's based upon the cyberpunk anime series. It was actually a sequel to the first game, but got a bit overshadowed because people thought it was just a port of the PS2 game. But seriously, it's way more than that. The gameplay is super cool. You've got these customizable Tachikoma tanks that are like your sidekicks. You can either run around as AI or you can ride inside them. You get to play as characters from the series like Motoko Kusanagi and Batou, and each character has their own stats that change up the game, like Batou's a tank with more health and Saito's the sniper guy. Plus, the Tachikomas have different personalities, which is pretty hilarious. What makes this game such a banger? Well, for starters, the whole concept of having these Tachikoma buddies is unique, and the character variety means you can replay levels in different ways. Plus, the controls are really solid for a PSP shooter. Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex on the PSP is definitely like uncovering a secret level in your favorite anime. From action, strategy, and those lovable Tachikomas, it's really a blast for the ones who love both shooter and anime. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky smacks of being a legendary play for the PSP. So, what's the story here? You're stepping into the shoes of Estelle Bright and her adopted brother Joshua. Their goal? To become top-notch bracers in the country of Liberal. The story takes a wild turn when they get tangled up in stopping a coup to overthrow the monarchy. Plot twist alert, Joshua, who's been your trusty sidekick, turns out to be an unwitting spy for the shady group Ouroboros. Talk about family drama. Gameplay-wise, this is a classic RPG goodness. You're exploring, chatting up NPCs, and the cool part, the NPC stories evolve as you progress. Combat is this neat turn-based system on a grid with a hint of strategy thanks to the AT bar dictating turn order. You've got arts, crafts, and supercharged S-crafts at your disposal, making every battle a brain teaser. And if you mess up, well, no sweat. The game lets you retry with an easier setting. I fail to comprehend how this remains an underrated game because, man, it's like a novel in a game, and the story's so deep and engaging too. Plus, the character development is top-notch. It's like this uncut diamond that RPG fans might have missed and definitely deserved more spotlight. Darkstalkers Chronicle: The Chaos Tower. Darkstalkers Chronicle: The Chaos Tower is this cool fighting game for the PSP that's kind of flown under the radar. So there's not much of a plot, you know. It's more about these awesome characters from the Darkstalkers universe. You've got vampires, werewolves, and all sorts of mythical creatures duking it out. It's like Halloween came early, and everyone's invited to the party. Gameplay is where this game truly shines. Think of it as a buffet of fighting styles. You can pick from any style from the entire Darkstalkers series. That's like 5 games worth of moves and combos to play around with. Plus, you get all the characters from the series, each with their unique endings and moves. And the music, it's like a greatest hits album of Darkstalkers tunes. I reckon it's underrated because it's more than just a port. You can think of it as a celebration of the Darkstalkers series. You've got so much variety in gameplay, and this one's just perfect for quick action-packed gaming sessions on the go. Plus, the nostalgia factor is through the roof if you've played the earlier games. The game's fighting game bliss handheld style.
Wow, an adventure!
Gurumin, a monstrous adventure. Gurumin, a monstrous adventure is another adorable yet kick-butt game for the PSP that totally deserves more love. In the game, you play as Parin, this spunky girl who moves to her grandpa's place in Tease Town, right? So, she thinks there are no kids around until she saves what she thinks is a girl from a dog, but plot twist, it's actually a monster, or Obaki, visible only to kids. This little monster buddy leads Parin to their world, which is under attack. And guess what? Parin finds this epic legendary drill and decides to become the hero Monster Village needs. The gameplay is all about action-packed RPG goodness. Parin's drill is the star of the show. It gets stronger as you fight and can level up and down, keeping things exciting. You also collect these wild hardware pieces that give you cool powers and can be upgraded. And the outfits, they're not just for looks. They can unlock special abilities. Replayability is huge here. You finish the game and boom! New difficulty levels unlock, each twisting the gameplay in fun ways. Like one mode makes it so you can only damage enemies with critical hits. Talk about a challenge. I think this game flies under the radar because it's this perfect example of both cute and hardcore. The character design is super charming and the gameplay is genuinely engaging and challenging. It's like the best of both worlds. This game offers everything from adventure to cute monsters and a legendary drill. Oh wait. Dantes Inferno. Dantes Inferno on the PSP takes you through the darkest corners of mythology and literature. In the game, you are Dante, this Templar knight from the Crusades, right? Get this. He's on a mission to save his wife Beatrice from Lucifer himself. The catch? He's got to battle through the 9 circles of hell, guided by the spirit of the poet Virgil. It's like a hardcore, action-packed version of Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. The gameplay is nuts. You control Dante in a third-person perspective, slashing and hacking your way through hordes of demonic enemies. Your main weapon? A beastly scythe for some sick combination attacks. Plus, there's this holy cross for ranged attacks, and you can unlock all sorts of magical abilities. The combat is super intense, and there's even this cool absolve system where you can save enemy souls for extra points. And the puzzles and platforming? A whole new level of challenge. I think it really didn't get the appreciation it deserves, because, man, this game is like an epic poem turned into an action game. The art direction is amazing, and the way they've visualized hell is just mind-blowing. Plus, the storytelling is top-notch. It's not just a game. It's like a journey through a dark, twisted fantasy. It really has it all, from mythology to literature, and even badass gaming, all rolled into one. So, if you'd be up for giving Lucifer a taste of his own medicine, Dantes Inferno is waiting with some epic adventure. Pursuit Force. Pursuit Force on the PSP is this insanely cool action game which remained a hidden gem of high-octane fun on the PSP. So, what's the deal here? Well, you are this hardcore police agent in this elite squad called Pursuit Force, right? Your job is to take down some seriously bad gangs in Capital State. We're talking high-speed chases, leaping onto moving cars, and intense gunfights. There are 5 gangs, like the mafia-style Capelli family and the crazy convicts, each with their own wild leaders and missions. It's like being in an action movie. Gameplay is simply cool. cool. You're chasing down gangsters in cars, boats, and even helicopters. And the best part? You can jump onto enemy vehicles, kick out the baddies, and take control. It's like parkour with cars. Plus, you unlock new ranks and abilities as you progress, making you feel like a super cop. There's even a race mode and time trials for when you just want to zoom around. This game offers super thrilling racing with shooting action in a way most games don't. The adrenaline rush of jumping from car to car while in a high-speed chase? Unmatched, and the variety of missions keeps it super fresh. So why it's still so underrated lies over my head. All in all, with this game, you're getting some fast cars, big guns, and also taking down bad guys, but with style.
Here goes. Enemy neutralized.
Valkiria Chronicles 2. Valkiria Chronicles 2 is like that awesome TV series you binge-watch for the plot and the action. Imagine it's 2 years after this huge war, and you're in this military academy. But it's not just about exams and pep rallies. Yeah, you're actually fighting against a nasty rebel group trying to wipe out an entire ethnic group. You play as Ivan Hardins, a 17-year-old cadet who's thrown into this wild mix of school life and battlefield action. It's like going from freshman year to saving the world 101. The gameplay is just a chef's kiss. You're using this blitz system, jumping between an overhead command mode and intense third-person action mode. You're moving your squad around, managing their actions, and then watching the enemy make their move. It's like a game of chess, but with tanks and magic. And the classes system? So cool. You start with basic units like scouts and shock troopers, then level them up into specialized badasses. It's like evolving your own little army of superheroes. Why is it underrated, man? You get school action with military strategy, and you're not even just fighting battles blindly. You get to deal with your school life, so it basically adds a layer of depth to the characters. Plus, the tactical gameplay is super engaging but doesn't get enough love.
Go war! I can do it because go you because I get
Gitaru Man Lives. Gitaru Man Lives for the PSP is like this wild musical rollercoaster that's way underrated. You play as this kid, U1, just your average Joe, getting bullied and unnoticed by your crush. But here's the twist. Your dog, your talking dog, Puma, turns you into Gitaru Man, a legendary guitar hero. You battle your way through these insane musical duels, clashing against the baddies of the Gravillian Empire. And the story's got this cool twist where you befriend Kira, who turns out to be your enemy's gladiator. But instead of fighting, you jam out and turn her to your side with the power of music. Epic, right? The gameplay is pure rhythm game bliss. You're jamming on your PSP, hitting notes in charge, attack, and guard phases, trying to outplay your musical foes. Each successful note you hit either boosts your health or chips away at the enemies. But miss a beat and you're the one taking the hit. It's like playing a guitar solo in a high-stakes battle of the bands. It still didn't shine in popularity though. But really, it's not just your average rhythm game. It's got a quirky story, unique characters, and the gameplay. Oh man, it's a fresh take on the genre. Plus the music by Coil is just killer. Almost as if this perfect presentation of challenge and fun that didn't get enough spotlight. In a nutshell, this hidden gem will have you tapping your feet and bopping your head while saving the universe, one epic guitar battle at a time. Almost like that one catchy tune you can't get out of your head. Flatout Ultimate Carnage. Flatout Ultimate Carnage for some insane destruction racing action. It's like a demolition derby on steroids. Okay, there's no traditional story here per se, but the game is all about smashing, crashing, and bashing your way to victory. Think of it as a no-holds-barred racing extravaganza where the only plot is wreck or be wrecked. Pure adrenaline-pumping chaos. The gameplay? Oh man, it's butt-kicking solid. You've got real-world physics that makes every crash feel bone-crunchingly real. There's a bunch of modes like Career, where you climb the ranks by wrecking your way to the top. Then there's arcade racing, packed with deathmatch derbies, time trials, and other crazy challenges. Honestly, Flatout Ultimate Carnage is like that crazy ride you can't help but laugh and cheer through. Honestly, I think it's underrated because of its pure, unadulterated fun. You don't just race, you obliterate your competition in the most spectacular ways. The damage is insanely detailed, and the physics makes each crash unique and satisfying. This would be the perfect game for when you just want to let loose and wreak some havoc. Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins on PSP is a perfect presentation of nostalgia and innovation. In the game, You are Arthur, the knight from the classic Ghosts and Goblins series, right? But this time, it's not just any old demon fighting adventure. The game throws in a whole bunch of cool changes. You're traversing through haunted forests, volcanic pits and ruined castles, battling everything from zombies to giant oxen. It's like your childhood game got a major facelift. Gameplay-wise, it's a blast from the past but with a fresh feel. You've got 3 modes: Novice, Standard and Ultimate. In Standard, you start with 5 lives and respawn on the spot, a big change for the series. But Ultimate mode, that's for the hardcore fans. It's like the old school Ghosts and Goblins where one hit and you're back to the start of the stage. The levels and enemies are super varied, keeping you on your toes. And the weapons and magic system, totally revamped. You can now stash items for different levels and mix up your armor and powers. Plus, you gotta collect these golden rings to get to the final boss, which means revisiting levels to find hidden goodies. It's like a treasure hunt with demons. The game is super underhyped though, despite the fact that it brilliantly mixed the old with the new. The 3D graphics give it a modern edge, but the gameplay stays true to its roots. Plus, the level of challenge and replayability is just spot on. You really get the demon hunting vibes, but old school style. RType Tactics. RType Tactics, or as it's known in North America, RType Command, is a PSP game that's like a hidden gem in the strategy tactical RPG universe. Picture this: you're an officer in Earth's Space Corps, right in the thick of a war against these gnarly aliens called the Bido. The story has this cool dual perspective. First, you're battling the Bido, trying to save humanity. Then, plot twist, you get absorbed by the Bido and see the war from their side. It's like getting to play both the hero and the villain, each with their own epic journey. Coming to the gameplay now, it's all about strategic battles in space. You've got over 100 units to choose from, including the iconic R-Series fighters from the R-Type series. The battles play out on this hexagon grid, and direction matters, like you can't just turn on a dime. It's a cool throwback to the side-scrolling nature of the original R-Type games, but with a turn-based twist. And the Force units, they're like the Swiss Army knife of space. Shields, heavy hitters, you name it. I'm telling you, this game doesn't get enough love. You get both of nostalgia with fresh strategy gameplay. Plus the story's so advanced. Getting to play both sides of the war? Well, that's pretty rare in games. Almost as if watching a sci-fi movie, where you get to call the shots. If you're a fan of space, strategy and stories, well, you'd totally love this one. It's like being the admiral of your own space fleet, making those big calls and feeling the thrill of victory. Split Second. Split Second on PSP is an absolute blast. It's racing, it's strategy, and some kick-ass action all rolled into one. So, in this game, you're a contestant in this wild reality TV show where it's all about racing for fame and fortune. But here's the twist. It's not just racing, it's like an action movie on wheels. You're pulling off insane stunts and triggering massive explosions to outsmart your opponents. It's like being in a Michael Bay film. Speaking of the gameplay, it's super intense. You'll be racing, but that's not just all. You're also building up this power play meter by doing stunts and drafting opponents. And when it's full, boom! You can trigger events like collapsing buildings or exploding aeroplanes to shake up the race. It's like playing chess at 200 miles per hour. The new PSP track, the Ducks, combines the best parts of 3 tracks into one mega course. Plus, the driving physics are tweaked for the PSP, making it feel just right in your hands. We really feel this hidden gem is underappreciated because it's more than just any other racing game. This is an adrenaline-pumping, action-packed, strategy-driven adventure. The whole reality TV angle has a cool narrative layer, and triggering those events feels so satisfying that we really don't get to see often, almost like being in the driver's seat of your own action movie. Mcross Ace Frontier. In Mcross Ace Frontier, we're diving headfirst into the expansive Mcross universe. In this game, you're not just playing a game, you're living out your space pilot dreams in a 3D world. Developed by ArtDink and dropped by Bandai Namco Entertainment in 2008, this game is all about carving your own path in the Mcross saga. You get to pick your pilot, shape their story, and even get caught up in some classic love triangles. Talk about drama in space. The gameplay here? Next level. ArtDink took some killer cues from the Gundam Battle series, so you know it's legit. You've got a choice of 4 original pilots and 3 operators, each with their own backstories and stats. And here's the cool part, your choices affect everything from your stats to how your love triangle plays out. Talk about pressure, right? Plus, for those looking for a real challenge, there are EX missions. These bad boys are like the ultimate test. No custom stats, just you and your default gear reliving key story moments. It's like stepping right into the anime. Let me tell you, Mcross Ace Frontier is one of those PSP titles that didn't get the love and attention it deserved. You're not just playing a character, you're building relationships, shaping stories, and living the battles. The gameplay is also pretty engaging and challenging, and frankly, it's just a blast to play. And let's be real, any game where you can form a love triangle in space is a winner in my book. Black Rock Shooter. Black Rock Shooter on PSP? Well, it's almost like you're going deep into a post-apocalyptic anime with an epic storyline and cool battles. So, picture this in your head. It's 2051, Earth's been overrun by aliens, and humanity is down to its last dozen. Enter Black Rock Shooter, aka BRS, who's basically humanity's last hope. She's not just any weapon, there's a whole mystery to her existence. It's like you're stepping into a sci-fi anime where the fate of the world rests on your shoulders. Gameplay-wise, this action RPG is super engaging. You play as BRS, exploring, finding items, and jumping into battles. The combat's also on point. You're aiming and shooting with a rock cannon, dodging and blocking. But watch out, if you overuse your skills or dodge too much, you're gonna overheat, and that leaves you wide open. There are these cool abilities you unlock, like a sniper rifle or stat boosts. Oh, and the motorcycle segments, absolute adrenaline rush. In the game, you really get the best of both worlds. From anime style with really engaging gameplay, it's not just about shooting. You get to play the strategic bit with the overheating mechanics too. Plus, the story. You get a feeling of being in an anime saga. Trust me when I say this alien-infested world deserved more and more love than it originally got. You could really unleash some Black Rock Shooter action. Mcross Ultimate Frontier. Mcross Ultimate Frontier, or MUF for the cool kids, is the awesome sequel to Mcross Ace Frontier. Released in Japan in 2009 by Artdink and Bandai Namco Entertainment, this game takes you deeper into the Mcross universe. The storyline? Well, you can think of it like a space saga with epic illustrations by Hidetaka Tenjin, featuring a lineup of the coolest mechs like the VF-25F Messiah and VF-19 Excalibur. And yeah, the sequel, Mcross Triangle Frontier, just adds to the hype. Now, let's talk gameplay. MUF steps it up with 3 new mechanics: anti-missile action, so long pesky warheads, real flight, you can think ultra-realistic aircraft navigation, and support, where a non-combat character boosts your battle game. But hold on, it's not just about flying and fighting, it's about feeling the rush and strategy. The game also expands its roster, adding new pilots and operators, plus events and characters from other Mcross series. Unlockable variable fighters and a shop called Nyan Nyan for cool in-game items? Check. The improved EX missions and options for pilot stat growth? Double check. Alright, now, here's the deal. This is the PSP game that deserved way more spotlight. It sold well, sure, but it's like the secret club of awesome that not enough people knew about. The game's depth, from character relationships to aircraft customization, it's all top-notch. Every mission, every battle feels like part of a bigger story you're shaping.
Great. Jackpot.
Space Invaders Extreme. Imagine a classic arcade game got a turbo boost and you've got Space Invaders Extreme. So there's no deep story here, but who needs that when you've got aliens to blast? It's the same good old Space Invaders, but with a twist. You're at the bottom of the screen, armed with a cannon, and your mission is to take out waves of aliens trying to invade. Classic arcade style. But wait until you hear about the gameplay upgrades. The gameplay is supercharged. You're moving left and right, blasting aliens and dodging their attacks. But here's the kicker. Shoot 4 invaders of the same color in a row, and bam! You get power-ups like bombs, lasers, and shields. Plus, there's this cool fever time that turns you into an alien blasting machine. And the stages? They mix it up with different alien formations and boss levels. The game takes a classic and injects it with modern energy. The visuals are super attractive, and the soundtrack is pumping. And the gameplay is both nostalgic and fresh. It's like rediscovering an old favorite song with a killer remix. In short, Space Invaders Extreme is a nostalgia trip with a rave party twist. Whether you're an old-school arcade fan or new to the game, this game would be addictive as heck for you.
You couldn't ask for anything more in a Mega Man game! What? You want to
Mega Man powered up. Let's jump back into Mega Man world. It's time to save the day, chibi style. This game is definitely like a nostalgic trip with a fresh coat of paint. Coming to the story now. So, we're back in the classic Mega Man universe. Dr. Light created these robots, including our blue hero, Rock, aka Mega Man, and his sister, Roll. But Dr. Wily, the not-so-nice colleague of Dr. Light, goes rogue, reprogramming the other robots for his world domination plans. It's up to Mega Man to save the day, blasting through 8 robot masters, and then taking on Wily himself. It's the original story, but feels fresh all over again. Coming to the gameplay, this game's classic Mega Man with an expected turn. You've got the 2D platforming, but now in this super cool chibi-style 3D. You jump, shoot, slide, and charge your Mega Buster to take down enemies. Each robot master you beat gives you their power, but if you use the Mega Buster, you can actually play as them later. The levels are revamped too, with new layouts and challenges. This game remains underrated because it's a total reimagining. The graphics are adorable, gameplay is tight, and being able to play as the robot masters, that's just cool. Plus, the level creator adds this whole new layer of fun. All in all, Mega Man Powered Up is like reliving your childhood with a modern touch. It's just perfect for both old school fans and newbies. Parodius Portable. Parodius Portable is this awesome collection that's like a treasure trove for retro gaming fans. Okay, so this one doesn't have one big plot, but each game in this collection has its own quirky, zany storyline. It's basically a parody of the classic Gradius series, so expect some seriously wacky and fun twists. Imagine flying octopuses, cats on rockets. It's a wild ride from start to finish. Gameplay-wise, this is a side-scrolling shooter, but with a super goofy and whimsical shocker. You get to play through all the main titles in the series. There's the enhanced remake of the original MSX Parodius, and even the PlayStation version of Jikyo Oshaberi Parodius. The other titles are straight-up arcade ports, so it feels like you're playing right on the arcade machine. You'd be getting some of the most bizarre and colourful levels ever. Imagine a joyride back to the good old days, but with a twist. You get Parodius Portable. Here, you get to think wild and really enjoy that out-of-the-box PSP fun, all in your pocket. All this, but alas, still so underrated. Bounty Hounds. Bounty Hounds on the PSP is like a hidden gem in the action RPG universe. So, how does the plot go? In the game, you're this badass mercenary, Maximilian, leading the Bounty Hounds. Think intergalactic badasses. Your job is to clear out alien planets so humans can move in. Sounds straightforward, right? But wait, the plot thickens as you're kicking alien butt, but you start uncovering this massive conspiracy among Earth's big shot corporations. It's almost like every mission peels back another layer of this space mystery. The gameplay here is a hack and slash with RPG elements. And the arsenal, man, it's nuts. You've got over 500 weapons to choose from, plus tons of armor. You feel like a kid in a candy store, but instead of candy, it's all about epic weapons. As you take down enemies, you rack up experience points, beefing up Maximilian's stats and unlocking new skills. It's like watching your character transform into this ultimate alien hunting machine. I think Bounty Hounds remains largely unnoticed because of how perfectly it offers intense action. The variety of weapons and upgrades keeps things fresh, and the plot, it's like diving into a sci-fi novel. Bounty hunting's never been this much fun. Riviera, the Promised Land. Riviera, the Promised Land on PSP is like an epic saga you can dive into anywhere. In the game, you are Ein, a grim angel, and you're on this massive quest to seal away evil entities known as the Accursed. The catch? You've got these 4 heroines and a chatty cat-like familiar tagging along. The game throws you into this mix of battling demons and making choices that affect your relationships with your companions. It's part RPG, part dating sim, and all adventure. Gameplay here is this cool turn-based RPG as well as strategy, with a dash of dating sim elements. You're not just fighting, you're also going through relationships and making choices that change the game's outcome. You start in Alendia and work through different stages, each with its own challenges and boss battles. And get this, the game has over 500 weapons and armor pieces to find and equip. It's like a treasure hunt every time you play. I think Riviera is super underrated because of the way it presents genres. The storytelling is top-notch, the combat is strategic and fun, and the relationship aspect adds a whole new layer to the gameplay. Plus the art and music. Gorgeous. Loco Roco 2. Loco Roco 2 on the PSP is this super fun platformer that's like a burst of happiness in your hands. After kicking the Mojocor's butt in the first game, the adorable Loco Rocos are chilling in peace. But guess what? The bad guys are back with a vengeance. The Mojo boss has this new song that sucks the life out of everything. Creepy, right? Now these cheerful blobs are on an epic quest to save their planet and stop the Mojocors once again. It's like a colourful adventure filled with singing and saving the world. The gameplay here is a total joy. You control the planet, yeah, the whole planet, using the shoulder buttons to tilt and roll your Loco Roco around. Want to jump? Well, just press both buttons. Need to split into smaller blobs or merge back? Hit the circle button. And the new features? You can swim, squeeze through tiny spaces, and there are loads of new abilities to explore. Plus, there are these cool new characters like Mageline, the evil Weebwee, and Viole, the new purple Loco Roco. Loco Roco 2 really deserves all the hype as it's just pure, unadulterated fun. The visuals are super vibrant, the music is catchy, and the gameplay is both simple and incredibly satisfying. It'll definitely feel like a little escape to a happy, bouncy world. It's perfect for those times when you just want to smile, tilt, and roll. Marvelous verdict, and there you have it, gamers. Our roundup of the top 30 underrated PSP games that deserve more and more love. It's incredible to think how much this little console offered, punching way above its weight class in terms of gaming experiences. If you've played through all the blockbuster titles on the PSP, I hope this list has reignited your passion and shown you some gems that slip through the cracks. Remember, just because a game isn't in the spotlight definitely doesn't mean that it can't offer hours of fun and memorable experiences. So dust off your PSP, charge it up, and dive into some underrated classics. Who knows what incredible adventures await you? If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Marvelous Gamers for more gaming content. And hey, drop a comment below to let us know your favorite PSP games or any hidden treasures you think deserve a spot on our list. And we'll see you in the next one.